Hi friends, Kristen Fagan here for another episode of Free Spirit Beading, the last one of the year. It's a little dark and cloudy out today, so I have a light. Hopefully that helps us to see a little more clearly. How's everybody doing? Are you guys ready for the holidays? Hi Lydia. Sorry to have missed you last week. I had a doctor's appointment, so that just was a little too difficult to get it all done. But I'm happy to be here today. Hi, Lori. So today will be the last video from me for this year. I will be back on January 6th with a fresh one for the new year. And today we're gonna make a festive Christmas necklace, maybe choker size, something kind of close to the neck, but you can always change and make it a little longer if you want to. But really cute. For those of you that have gotten our O Tannenbaum design kit, you'll have these beads to work with, or if you picked up the O Tannenbaum bead mix, you'll have these beads to work with. They are currently sold out at softluxcompany.com. The O Tannenbaum bead mix was an exclusive custom bead mix for us from Jesse James Beads. However, if you just want these specific beads I'm working with today, you may be able to find them over at jessejamesbeads.com. Not positive, but you might be able to find them or something like it. Hi, Elizabeth. Welcome. So let me just start by letting you guys know what our sale is. Today is December 23rd, and we have a Buy More, Save More sale going on over at softluxcompany.com. So you will get 15% off your order of $59 or more, 20% your order of $79 or more, and 25% your order of $99 and more. No coupon needed. It will automatically show in the cart, and that is for retail priced orders. We also have a US orders over $50 ship free option at checkout. So that goes until next week, December 29th. It ends at midnight. It's a little different than our normal sale schedule with the holiday. So that will be Sunday, December 29th is when that will end. And if you are a designer and you're on our email list, we did send out a special coupon for some extra savings on your designer prices. And that's really rare. We don't do that very often because wholesale designers already are getting a discount. But if you are on an email list, check it out. Make sure you get the coupon code. You'll need a coupon for that one. And that extra savings is also good until December. Oh, how funny that you asked that, Lori. Do you know when the next live sale is? I love those because James and I were just talking before I jumped on this video that we didn't have the list of what our next live sale is because it's the end of the year, and he was asking me if I had it and I said I didn't. So if he jumps on here, and he said he might stop in, if he jumps on here, I will ask him if he happened to have found out that information. Otherwise, we always post our video schedule and our sales schedule in the Facebook group, so you can go under announcements in the VIB Studio Facebook group, and you'll see our current schedule of videos and sales. And hi, Thomas, Merry Christmas. We also list on our website, if you go to softluxcompany.com, under School of Design, there is a link to jewelry making video schedule. And on that page is when I'll also share the live sale dates when we know them. So if I don't get an answer for you today, you can check out those two places and we will update that as soon as we have those dates available. All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks for asking, Lori. It's so funny how we were just talking about that beforehand and I didn't have an answer and you then asked the question, isn't it? It's so kismet kind of how that happens, right? All right, so let's make a festive holiday necklace. I'm gonna turn you guys down to my beading table And I have a light, so we'll play with that and see what looks good there. Oh, and I also wanted to show you guys, if you have seen Sarah's video for the icicles, I got on the icicle bandwagon and made these two beauties with this one with green craft wire in the 18 gauge and this one with vintage bronze color craft wire in the 18 gauge. But these are really pretty. You can make these with any beads you have around. You just need to graduate them from largest to smallest. And if you want to see that video, Sarah did that right here on our YouTube channel. You can check that out on our video tab, or you can look at the holiday crafts and ornament series that Sarah did and find it there. Really quick and easy, great last minute gift. You can add them on top of your presents as a little topper. Elizabeth said she made some too. It was fun. Yeah, they were taking over the VIB Facebook group for Softlex. I mean, everyone was making them and it was really fun to see. And so I had to make some too. All right, let's get going. Let's see here. So that's where we're at with natural light. It's not as bad as I thought, but I do have a little light here. One more. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, that brightened it up nice. Okay, so I'm using, this was the O Tannenbaum custom bead mix that I talked about that we were selling from Jesse James Beads. You also got it if you bought our O Tannenbaum design mix kit, design kit, you would have had that in there. So from this kit, from this little mix, I pulled out all of these little glitter light bulbs, which were so cute. And that's what I'm gonna be using. That's what I'll be using for this project today. Like I said, you might be able to find these on their own over at jessejamesbeads.com because we are sold out of this bead mix now. Or you might be able to find similar little light bulb beads online if you Google Christmas light bulb beads and work with something kind of similar, but really cute. And I didn't want to do a whole lot with it because I wanted these to be the star of the design. So we're just going to take 2 strands and weave it through these beads here. I picked up the Softlex medium in green emerald, which is this really pretty deep green. And I love how it looks just like the wire that you would have with Christmas lights. It's like almost the same color as you would have. So it just fit perfectly for this design. So to start it, you're gonna cut 2 strands, and these are 8-inch strands each. And then we're gonna string on these guys, but we'll show that in a minute. So I'm just pairing them with some seed beads. So I've got these, which are size 8 transparent green seed beads. And I had these in my stash, which are a really pretty, like emerald dark green color with some a bit of a AB kind of finish on there, or metallic finish. And these are size 11 seed beads, and they're actually triangle shaped, but that's not as important. It's just what I had on hand, but I did want to let you know that this particular shape I'm using is a triangle shape. And that is what we're going to do. We're just going to alternate up the back the larger seed bead and the smaller seed bead to create a pattern for our necklace. When I first put these together, I just was using the smaller, darker beads. So I wanted to show this to you guys too. So you can use different size beads. What's gonna happen is your bulbs are gonna be a little closer together. So these are just using the size 11 seed beads in between, and then just the size 11 up the back. And it keeps it very simple. It's a little more dainty of a design, and it could be a little elegant, I guess. But I decided to really kind of pump up the fun and use these larger green beads with the smaller ones. What it does is it separates your bulbs out just a little bit further than it does here. And it brings in another color of green, a little more festive. So for tools, I've got my magical crimping pliers and I have my flush cutters. I also have a little tape measure here to help me with my sizing. And lastly, you're gonna need some crimps. So I've got the 2x2 millimeter silver crimp tubes, and I shouldn't have said lastly, and you need some findings. So I just have some of our little lobster clasps here. I think this is the 9.5 millimeter size in silver. Some jump rings if I need it, and some ear wires if we decide to make a pair of earrings to go along with. I'm not sure, but I just pulled them out just in case. So the first thing I did was I strung this pattern, and if you use the spool as one end, you can kind of just string away and that will stop your beads for you. And then this is a little mini bead stopper I put on the end there to catch it. So you start it out with a tiny seed bead, and then you do the next one, and you just alternate. Simple as can be. So I created 2 strands, 6-inch each of beads on there. So here, these are gonna go up the back side. So this one's 6 inches and this one's 6 inches. And I probably have about 10 inches of wire. You just wanna give yourself enough wire on either side of the beads that you can attach it to the clasps and to our focal without it being too difficult. When it gets a little short, sometimes it can be a little harder to make those attachments. So I'll just put these aside. I strung these ahead of time so that we didn't have to do that together on camera. And then for my focal, I've got 2 strands. These are 8 inches a piece. And then we just are gonna string one light bulb, and then we're gonna string the seed beads, one on each strand. And then we string the light bulb on both strands and then the seed beads on either side. So we'll finish that design. Let me take these off of here. If you guys don't have a bead mat, something like this is called a bead mat. It's just a couple of dollars and you get 3 of them. I think they're 11 by 14 in size. They roll out. These are wonderful when you're working with beads, and the beads will just sit right on there, so you won't lose them and they won't roll around. So I did use a bead mat when I was stringing all these seed beads because they are tiny and they easily fall out of my hands. So I just wanted to mention that for anybody new to beading, they're really helpful to have a bead mat on hand. I don't use it often when I'm doing the video as much, but I tend to use it prior to it as I'm getting set up. So I'm just gonna take out some of these larger size 8 seed beads and gonna finish with my pattern. The nice thing about these little bulbs is that the tops were rubber, so they kind of stay in place. You don't have to put a bead stopper on here, but if they were not staying in place, just clipping a little bead stopper on the end would ensure that your design stays together. So I'm just gonna string a seed bead on each strand just like that. And then I'm going to attach my next color. And I'm gonna do that on both strands. And then I'll separate them, do one large seed bead on each side again. And then I'll do my next color. So are you guys feeling ready for the holiday? Everybody all set, or you have some last minute stuff to do? I'm pretty good. The only thing left is I wanted to do some baking, and I haven't had a chance to do that yet. I always make Italian biscotti, my mom's recipe for the holidays. And then I also love to make Sarah's recipe. She makes these wonderful ginger cookies. They're like ginger molasses cookies. And they are one of my favorite recipes. So that one I always try and do too. If you're on the Softflex Company email list, look for that recipe tomorrow, because she shared that recipe with us a few years ago and I added it to our email for tomorrow. So you guys can make it too. I just love like that molasses, ginger, spicy kind of cookie. Do you have any holiday traditions that you bake for the season? I know my husband wishes that I would make sugar cookies more, but I don't make a lot of sugar cookies. Those are his favorite. Oh, thanks, Damien. Damien found the link for the cookie recipe, and he just shared that. So there's the link to print the recipe from our website. Elizabeth says, we do the Italian fishes for Christmas Eve. Yes, I always did that as well with my family when I was growing up. I love that tradition. So there you have it. This is going to be the front of the necklace. And I did, when I was actually working on this, you could even make 2 necklaces out of this and just do it shorter, because each bulb comes in 2 colors. So I could have stopped there and made that the focal, and then you could make 2. But I decided that I just wanted to go all out and make a really large Christmas bulb necklace this time. However, I wanted to let you guys know you can always cut that in half and make that smaller and do 2. One for you and one for someone else, right? So what we're gonna do now is we are going to attach this focal to our strands that we have here. And I wanted to show this technique because I don't know about you, but I always hang on to little scraps when I'm designing. And these particular, like this length here, about an 8-inch length, I always have stuff like that in my scraps. So you can do something like this where you play with a focal and you use your scrap wire that you don't even have to pull off your spool, and then attach it to something going up the back. You can always attach it, you know, you can always attach it to chain, you could attach it to silver silk, but if you wanted to attach it to another piece of beaded wire, you can do it to just Softflex. A lot of times we leave Softflex plain, but today we're gonna actually attach it to another piece of beaded wire. So it's a nice tip, little technique to have in your arsenal for when you ever wanted to do that. So I am using a little 2mm by 2x2 crimp tube, and I'm stringing that down the 2 wires I have here on my focal. Then I'm going to remove one of these bead stoppers that was holding my beads in place, and I'm going to attach this by sliding it into that crimp tube, because these 2x2 crimp tubes can hold up to 3 strands of wire. So now I've got the back strand going through this direction and the other 2 strands going through the opposite direction so that they are connected. I'm going to use my magical crimping pliers, which has 1 notch in the center, and that is going to just squeeze that. Makes a nice pinched ravioli. I'm going to turn it on its side, squeeze it again, and then I'm just going to go around rolling that crimp tube inside that notch a few times until, probably do like 5 times, till I'm happy with the final shape. And then you can trim off your little tails. And you might want to do that part one by one so that you don't accidentally cut your wires that you want to have. You just want to cut off these tails coming out that are no longer needed. And when I do this, I use the flat side of my cutter, and I have the flat side going as close to my crimp as I can get it. And then I trim one by one. Each of those little beading wire tails I don't need. And now you have 2 wires that connect to 1 wire here. And I'm just going to scoot these beads down closer to that crimp. And then the same thing will go on this side. You would scoot these beads down, and so you barely see where that connects. There's just that little crimp bead in between there. And now I'm going to do the same on the other side. So I'm going to pick up this strand here. I'm just going to scoot these down just a little bit closer. There we go. So now on this side, you got to be a little more careful about where you are doing your final crimping. I'll probably hold my finger there and just leave a little bit of space to do that crimp, and then I can scoot some of these beads back up to the crimp again. And then I'll take off that bead stopper. So we've got the crimp tube with the 2 strands for my focal, and then I'm going to take this one for the back and I'm going to slide it through my crimp so that they're all connected. And then I'm just going to crimp once more with my magical crimping pliers. You can always use regular crimping pliers here. I like the magical because it turns it into a nice little bead and kind of disappears. We sell these at softflexcompany.com. They're really popular. But they do only work with 2 by 2 millimeter crimp tubes, and and they work best with our medium diameter beading wire, which is what we're using today. Trim off those tails just like we did on the other side, and then let those beads scoot down. And there you have it. So now see how there's like a little bit of space on this side where I crimped and where that bulb starts? I'm just gonna move that bulb back to that crimp and then just scoot these little beads out so that we no longer have that space there. And then lastly, I'm gonna just take a moment and measure my design. I wanted to make this about 16 or 17 inches. I just wanted it to be a little bit closer on the neck. I think it would be really cute for the bulbs to be closer. A choker is 14 to 16 inches, depending on how close you want it and the size of your neck. And 17 would just be just a little bit longer. Lori says, how cute is this? Fun. It is, right? It's really, really cute. If you ever wanted to figure out a size of choker for your neck or for someone's neck you're designing for, you would measure their neck. You take like a tape, you know, like a flexible tape measure like this one. You would measure their neck and then you add 2 inches to it. And that's how you'd find out their choker size. But like I said, it's generally between 14 and 16 inches. So I'm just gonna straighten this guy out and take my tape measure and see where I'm at here. And I am just above 16 inches right now. I am like about 16¼ inches, which that feels okay for me. I think that that actually will be comfortable. Let me pull it up to my neck and do a little check here. Yeah, I think that'll be comfortable for me. It's short enough, but not too tight. And we're just gonna add our lobster clasp. And you could add a jump ring, or you can make a little loop with the Softflex wire at the end. And that's what I'm gonna do today, only because my jump rings are open jump rings. And ideally, when you're doing something at the end of the clasp like this, especially with Softflex wire, ideally you wanna use a closed jump ring, because Softflex is so thin that with an open jump ring, unless you have it nice and tight and you've done a really good job of making sure there's no opening, it could slide out. So I suggest using a closed jump ring if you do want to add a jump ring on the back here, or we're just going to make a little loop for ourselves with Softflex. So I'm going to take out 2 more crimp tubes. And I'll start with this side. You'll want to string on your crimp tube first, and then you're going to string on your clasp. Make sure. Yeah. And then you're going to take your wire back down through your crimp tube. And I want this to come all the way down where my beads are. So you want to get close to your beads, but you don't want to be so tight that you don't have any give. And what I mean by that is you don't want to get it so that this is just straight and really stiff. You want to make sure that this wire still has a little bit of room to bend, because that will give it a little less tension. When you have too much tension on a necklace or any design really, then you're giving this an opportunity to eventually fail and break because it's pulling so tightly on it. So it's good practice to like make it into the circle for your neck or make it into a circle for your bracelet when you're deciding where to put your crimp tube, and that will make sure that you don't make it too tight and straight. Does that make sense? So I'm just going to leave a little bit of space there. And then go ahead and bring my crimping plier back on that crimp once again. I'm pretty excited to wear this today. I think this is going to be a fun Christmas design. And no matter what color I decide to wear, it'll match. So on this side, I'm just going to make a loop. So I'm stringing on my crimp tube, going to take this end back through that crimp again and make a little loop. And what I'm going to do is have this lobster clasp just hook right in onto that loop like that. So I'm just going to eyeball it and try and get my loop similar in size to what I did over here. And I can even leave it clasped if I want to. And then when you're happy with that, just go ahead and crimp that end in place. And trim off the wire there. And there you have it. I'm gonna put this on and see how it looks. All right, so I was wearing this one. This is what I made, I think, on a video last year. It was a very simple connector design with the green and red Softlex with green pearls. So that's what I had on. But let's turn this up and I'll show you, we'll take a look at what it looks like on. Now I might have to back up. I had to, there we go. Actually, let me bring my chair up a little bit. And a little bit more. There we go. Cute. So this ended up being, like I said, it was 16 1/4 with the beads. And then I added the clasp and the little loop on one side. So it's probably about 16 1/2. I would guess. Maybe 16 3/4 is the total length on here. Super fun, really cute, matches everything. All right, well, you guys, I'm very excited for having a little time off to spend with my family, and I hope you get to enjoy some time off this week too. just doing things that you love to do, enjoying the season, staying cozy. Lydia says perfect size. Yeah, I think I'm just a little bit larger than a choker is comfortable for me, but still being short enough to have that kind of feel. What do we got going on? We don't have a new video until the 1st of January. So that'll be over on our Facebook page. It will be our next design challenge, our live design challenge with the Snow Queen design kit. And if you guys didn't notice, we did find one more kit. That kit was sold out, and we did find one more kit in the warehouse and put it up for sale online. So there's currently one still available. So if you did not get your Snow Queen design kit and you really wanted one, now is the time. They are mystery kits, but I can show you that this was the Snow Queen accompaniment bead strand, and this has now sold out. But that's what the bead strand looks like. That kind of goes with the kit, so that gives you an idea of what it looks like. I know it's going to be really, really pretty. So just wanted to let you guys know that we did find one in the warehouse and we put it up for sale. So there's currently still one there when it was sold out. So that's exciting. Somebody go over and grab it. So on January 1st at 1 p.m. Pacific time is when we'll be doing the live design challenge. Liz says, thank you, happy holidays, and the kit is so pretty. Yeah, it's really a beautiful kit. It's just a winter wonderland kind of kit. So I'm excited to see what that one looks like and what everyone starts making with that. If you did get the O Tannenbaum kit and you made some work with it, some designs with it, join our Facebook group and share with us what you've made. We have wonderful group in there. Everyone is really great. They're sharing all the time. It's great. It's so much fun to see what everyone's making. And then if you share your designs, we count every design you make as an entry to win a future kit. So if you did purchase the O Tannenbaum design kit and you've been designing on your own, and you want to get in on the fun and share with other beaders, see what they've made, and enter to win a possible future kit, head on over to our Facebook page, join the group, and share the designs with the hashtag OTAN. That's OTAN. Liz is asking how my art show went. Oh, thanks, Liz. It's still going. I did have some art in a holiday sale here in Phoenix. The opening was December 6th because in addition to making jewelry and working for Softflex Company in the graphics department, I'm a painter, and so I had 3 works in a small work show for the holidays. So it went really well. They had the holiday party last 2 weeks ago now, and it's always fun to do a group show like that because there were over 80 different artists, so much great stuff to see. And you can always find more of my work if you are interested over at my website, KristenFagan.com. But I don't talk about it a whole lot here at Softflex Company. So thank you for asking. It went great, still going. The exhibit is on until the beginning of January. So a lot of fun. All right, what else do we got going on? We got the sale, 15% off $59, 20% off $79, 25% off $99, good until December 29th. And we will be out of the office at Softflex Company starting tomorrow at 1 p.m. Pacific time, December 24th. We'll be closed all day, Christmas Day on the 25th, and we're also closed on the 26th. We'll be returning on the 27th at 8 a.m. You can always shop and talk with us online and shop online, of course, but the office itself will be closed. So if we don't get back to you on Facebook or on Instagram or any of those social media sites as quickly as we usually do, just want to let you guys know that that's the reason why we have a few days off to spend with our families for the holidays. So season's greetings, warmest wishes for you guys and your family this holiday season. I will see you after the new year back here. I think it's January 6th, I believe, is the Monday at 12 p.m. Pacific time for our fresh first video of the year for Free Spirit Beading. Hi Amber, you did miss it. I'm just finishing up right now, but I'm gonna end the video and it will just take a minute or two to load on YouTube, and then you can watch it from the beginning. Sorry to miss you today. I hope you will still give it a watch and take a look. We made this necklace here with the Christmas lights is what we did on this video today. All right, guys, talk to you soon. Love you. Merry Christmas.